Happy 2022. Okay, we're going to get started with our scripture. It is Colossians 3:15, and it says, let the peace of Christ, to which you were indeed called in one body, rule in your hearts and be thankful. Okay, we're just going to look at part A. The be thankful part, I think, is self-explanatory. But let's look at A. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. So, breaking it down, peace is the wholeness. There's no part missing. And it's not wholeness or completeness or any just wholeness or completeness. It is the wholeness and the completeness of Christ. Okay, so whenever you don't have wholeness, you got anxiety. Okay, so that's the opposite of peace. And anxiety is pulling apart. Okay, so most of the time in scripture, whenever you see anxiety, it is going to pieces. You're dividing your concern to your job and to, your family and to bills and all these different things. That's that's anxious. That's being worried. Your desire and your concern is all divided up. Okay. But when you have peace, it's all whole, and it's complete. Okay. Because you're not going to pieces over every little thing. So here what it's telling you is to let that peace rule in your heart. Now, it made no sense to me. I was like, how? What are you talking about when you say let it rule in your heart? So what came back to mind to me was I watched that Saturday one of the college games, and it was a good game, one of those rival games, and they had been going to the wire back and forth, and they had tied the game with a touchdown. And of course, immediately there was a review of the touchdown that had just been called because, was he in, was he not in? That was the debate, okay? And so as we're watching this with the commentators, and they kept slowing it up and slowing it down, and we're seeing a pile of players, and we can't even see the goal line. And one of the commentators said they are not going to reverse this call because it is so hard to see whether or not he's in or he's not in, and there is so much riding on this game for you to reverse a call when you're not really sure. And that is what rule in your heart means, okay? Because that rule is like that, it says like an act of an umpire, okay? So sure enough, the referee comes back and he says the call on the field stands. It is a touchdown, which means we're not going to reverse this call because because you got a problem with it, and you're not sure if they got in because we can't see. We can't really tell, and there's so much going on. Well, for us, it is the same thing. There is a lot going on. You will have reviews. You will have things to challenge your peace, okay? But our thing is to say, whatever we originally said, which is that peace of Christ is what's going to stand, then we're not going to go to pieces because, the copier break, or because your kids are acting a fool, or because, you don't know how you're going to pay this bill, or because you got a bad diagnosis. I mean, any one of those things can give us, is a reason to be upset or divide your concern. But here it's like making an active, conscious choice to say, I'm not going to go to pieces over this. I'm going to allow my wholeness and my peace to stay intact. Okay, and I'm going to let that stand guard over my heart, because from out of the heart, that's where everything flows. That determines your actions, what you say and what you do, and all of that. So the peace of Christ, if we look at that, comes from Christ always did the will of the Father. He never did his own thing. It was always what God's will was, and not like he didn't come under attack. I mean, he was crucified, for goodness sakes. But it's about trusting the will of the Father and understanding that he has the power and the ability to do something about your problem. So we don't go to pieces because of these things that are challenging our peace. It is challenging our peace. What we do is we take it to God in prayer. And we say, Lord, this copy machine. And it sounds small, but if you're a teacher, this is a big thing. This copy machine is broken. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, can you help fix this? Lord, I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. and it's due, and these people want their money, and I'm gonna be in the dark. If the Lord, I really want another job. These people are getting on my nerves. I don't know if I could take, like, all of these things are real legit. The diagnosis, they're legit issues that are flags and reviews on our, that's coming for your peace. But what we should do, or what we can do, is to turn those into prayers so that our peace stay intact. Okay. The middle part tells you, for which you were indeed called, which means that you are a Christian. You say you are a follower of Christ. Then this whole play call is for you. You are to let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. Okay. Because you say you follow Christ, and that's what he desires of you. And the last part, it says, and be thankful. Okay. Don't act like God has not done some things for you, okay? Like he has not came through. He has not made major moves and done some things that blew your mind, okay? So when you start being thankful, you start thinking about all the things that God has done for you, it helps you to keep your peace, because you're like, well, I want a piece over this for. God took care of that before. I didn't been without a coffee machine before. I didn't been to where I didn't have no money before, and my bill got paid. We've been there. And we can see where God has rescued us. So let the call stand. Okay? Things are going to come to you. They're going to try to take your peace. Your job is to say, nope, I'm going to leave the peace of Christ. I'm going to leave it whole. And I'm going to give that request over to God in prayer. And let the peace rule my heart. And it decides my actions and my feelings and my desires for the day. All right. Okay. That's it. Colossians 3:15. Have a great 22. I don't know why it's so hard to say. 2022. It's just too much. But anyway, see you in February. We coming back.